back again. Today, we are discussing professional practice and ethics. You can use this as a partial study guide for the NCE exam. I know I am. All right, let's begin. Informed consent. Clients should be informed of the nature of all services, both in writing and verbally, and should be apprised. Clients should be included in discussions, even if they are themselves unable to give informed consent. So, informed consent is very important if you're a counselor, social worker, anybody as a mental health professional, licensed per se. And without that, well, gonna be some trouble. All right. Now let's get down to the long list steps of problem solving with ethical dilemmas. And this was taken from Kuchar and Keith Spiegel from 1998. All right. All right. So first step of problem solving with ethical dilemmas: determine the ethical problem. Step 2. Review ethical guidelines pertaining to the problem, including solutions that have worked before. Number 3. Peruse impact other sources may have had decisions that may solve the problem. Step 4. Consult with a trusted professional. Step 5. Assess human rights and civil liberties of the client. Step 6. Assess human rights, create number of avenues that may lead to the solution. Step 7. Evaluate possible consequences that could result of each solution. All right. Now, just to backtrack, 6 and 7 are kind of similar. Let me backtrack a little bit. Step 6, create a number of avenues that may lead to solutions. Step 7, evaluate possible consequences that could result of each solution. Step 8, make a decision about one solution implemented. And step 9, follow through with the decision made. All right. We got through that. Let's move on to licensing. All right, but first let's read about 1981. Council for the Accreditation of Counseling and Related Educational Programs, or better known as CACREP, was founded as an independent organization that can provide accreditation to the mental health counselors. Since 2018, 400 universities boast of these CACREP programs. Now let's move on to the licensing portion. State licensing boards set internship hours, supervisor qualification, and amount of direct client contact is required. All right. So with research process, first, define the problem. 2, form hypothesis. 3, create measured variables. And 4, choose the study designed to collect the data. Moving on, we have the data. We have subjective data or qualitative data, and that is the opinions of the observer of the subject. Next, we have objective data or quantitative data. This data is observable and can be treated and verified. All right, let's move on to study designs. Let's get to the good stuff now. basic single systems design. All right, we start off with the A-B design. All right, pay attention. A equals no intervention, but B is the intervention phase with the data. All right, now we move on to the next type of design, the common single system experimental design. All right, with this we have the ABA design. All right, so in phase A, it's the pre-intervention. Phase B is the intervention, and it's possible that after we do the intervention, we can actually go back to A, the pre-intervention, because that's how this one's set up. You do A, B, then A. All right, so if we return to the A, then the data will be collected again. But the downside, this is poorly recommended. So it's kind of like you're taking the risk, you're rolling the dice, you're playing the lottery on this particular design. All right, so let's move on to the next design. A, B, A, B. All right, so with the A, B design, we use it. Is it possible we could overcome failure with this design by reintroducing the intervention, or B, and the temporary removal of the intervention, or B, is downside. It could be time consuming, but it's just another way to test data, and if it's needed, we use it. All right, last one, BAB design. Drops baseline phase and starts and ends with the intervention, i.e. B, intervention. So this actually is great for crisis events, and it saves time, reduces ethical concerns. So crisis event, hey, car wreck, ambulance comes in, you're doing things that need quick, prompt action, quick, prompt behavior, all right? All right, let's move on to the sampling section. All right. Population is total set of subjects, sample, subset of subjects drawn from population, subject, single unit of population, and generalizability is the degree findings can be applied to the total population. All right, next, let's go to sampling techniques. First, we have simple random sampling, and that's each subject selected from a population has an equal chance of being selected. Examples: drawing numbers from a hat. All right, stratified random is the next technique to divide population in desired groups, and these can include ages or people's income. Next, cluster technique, sampling technique, used when natural groups are readily evident. Example, error and biases are possible with these cluster groups. And last sampling technique is systematic. And systematic is the systematic picking of randoms, picking a number between 1 and 2. Kind of similar to picking from the hat, except we just picking across the board on a certain amount of characters here. All right, so with that in mind, we got one more little section up here, the measurements. All right, measurements of when you can do in research. We start with the nominal. This is two or more named variables. Examples: male, female. Next, we have ordinal measurements, hierarchy when distance is not equal. All right, so just think of counting straight forward: 1, 2, 3, or first, second, third. All right, and interval, hierarchical values that are equal distance. So just think of something pretty much balanced out between each other, and ratio, one value divided by another. 50 is 1/2 of 100. So there you have it. Professional practice and ethics.